Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hello, you're listening to the podcast, so there I was. This is episode 195. Drop and give me one.
Only in the Air Guard will you... Actually, what was that? The Institute of Military Science?
I think, yeah, Academy of Military Science. Like it matters, but yeah.
Right.
Drop and give me one. Oh my goodness. I can't believe.
How awesome is that?
What a fun show we had with Chubbs, who flew A-7s in the Ohio Guard, then on to F-16s, had a wonderful career at the airlines where he was managing director of training for the MD-11 and did all kinds of stuff and verified one of my stories about a captain last week who was less than congenial with his crew in...
Less than excellent with the cockpit resource management skills.
Exactly.
Sometimes.
So, what are you going to do?
Sometimes good shit happens to bad people.
Exactly.
In this case.
A couple quick notes. I have set up a Venmo. So there I was.us/donate. The first option is Venmo. If you donate to us and you do it through DonorBox, they take 10 or 12%. If you do it through Patreon, they take 10 or 12%, depending on the level that you give. They don't always take quite that much. And Venmo tends to take more like 2%. So we'd appreciate that if you would consider doing that. The other thing is a thank you to our sponsor, dcartworks.net. We talk about them during the show, and some amazing artwork that this man produces.
He's a true artist.
Custom,
true artist.
It is art. If you need custom military emblems like your wings, like squadron patch, anything along those lines, even something as small as a bottle opener, go to dcartworks.net, reach out to Derek, and get something custom made for you.
I don't think size is an issue either. I mean, we saw, what is that? He did like a 3-foot diameter,
3-foot, 4-foot squadron emblems in steel, cut
out of
steel.
metal. 4 foot. I'm getting sticks is giving me the hand and arm signals. 4 foot.
Yeah.
Amazing. True artist. All American made by DC
and we're
himself.
To have him join us as a sponsor. So we talked all kinds of things. So a lot of airline stuff, about how much mergers suck, because they do.
Yeah. There's not one good thing about it.
Everybody hates everybody. Okay, so both airlines survive when maybe one or two wouldn't otherwise. Right. But at least hatred is spread among the ranks.
And then there's some good ones, but it's always hard. Change is hard, and when you're merging two airlines, it's probably it's never easy.
Because we talk about seniority and why seniority is important, and why plain and simple, mergers suck because they screw with your seniority. So we talked briefly about Bacchus, who flew west this week, as they say. Show 118 put the thing on the thing. So God bless Bacchus and your family. Sorry to see him go.
Tailwinds, brother.
Yeah, exactly. He talked about a lieutenant assault vehicle, which was off the charts funny.
Yeah, don't ruin it. Don't say anything else.
The lieutenant assault vehicle. It assaulted. That's all I'll say.
That's a great story. In the typical life of a professional cargo pilot.
Right.
And what crazy schedules and crazy things you actually do.
Right. And especially when you do it at his level, which was what we call a pathfinder. We talk about him being a pathfinder and all the extra fun that entailed. So I think we shouldn't talk about it anymore. We should get out of the way and let Chubbs talk about it. What do you think, man?
Oh, let's get out of the way.
Well, let's do it. Don't go to the cockpit without briefing your FO. Don't do it.
Don't lay down on the futon without extra blankets.
Without extra blankets. Here comes Chubbs.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit on the tanker through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. on, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the...
So there I was, 1,500 feet over out from the airport, Stansted, England, with a student in the right seat of the MD-11 on his IOE. And as we're coming in, he had to do a 50-flap landing. So at 1,500 feet, 5 miles from the end of the runway, we go from flaps 35 to flaps 50, and the airplane rolls up to 45 to 60 degrees in a left-hand bank.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, fuck no. That sounds horrible. That's a giant airplane that low to the ground, that big angle of bank. Oh, my God.
It was.
That's horrible. Okay. Well, holy shit. That is a terrifying So There I Was opener. Welcome, everyone, to So There I Was. This is Fig. I'm coming to you from Denver. Where's my co-host? Can't hear you.
Co-host is home in New Hampshire tonight, where it's fixing to get scary cold, as they put it on Seinfeld, where he wears that big puffy jacket. I don't have my big puffy Gore-Tex jacket like George Costanza, but man, it's going to get that way. Greetings, everybody. RePete here, and thrilled and honored and privileged to welcome to the show with us tonight Chubbs, coming to us from Fort Lickerdale, where I'm guessing it's not quite as cold, but it's awful cold for Florida.
It is, man. It's raining and windy.
What's considered cold for Fort Lauderdale, Chubbs?
About 65 degrees, I guess. I don't live here. I'm just on a trip, so.
Okay.
It's snowing at home.
All right. Well, holy shit. Well, I'm glad you're there and safe. And that's terrifying, fucking terrifying opener.
Right.
So RePete.
Yeah. Well, the good news is,
tell me how you
start out as a Czech airman on the MD-11, which we both love that airplane. It was definitely a varsity airplane, and we talked about that before. But where did you start out in airplanes? Whence did you look in the sky and go, I want to do that?
So I grew up in Groveport, Ohio, right off the end of runway at Rickenbacker Air Force Base.
Nice.
And playing Little League Baseball, we'd look up in the sky and watch tankers flying over all the time, and I didn't realize at the time there were F-100s and A-7s. And my favorite teacher in high school flew in World War II fighters. And I took an aviation course from him my senior year in high school, but I really didn't plan on doing any flying. And then I enlisted in the Guard because I need money to go to school. Found out that you could fly in the Guard, that they actually select their own pilots. Yeah. So it was kind of cool. I got to fly at home. Overhead pattern went over my parents' house. I flew with two guys I went to high school with.
What were you flying?
A-7s.
No shit. That's fucking badass, man.
Well, that's because I'm old.
Hometown boy.
Overhead pattern over my parents' house, man. Yeah.
How much fun is that? I mean, that's so cool. Yeah.
Dude, Bagel had that up. Was that a picture of Ohio Guard?
That was a Rickenbacker A-7.
No shit. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me take the banner down. But yeah.
I flew that numerous times.
Jet, man.
It is, man. It was a wing commander's or squadron commander's jet.
Single engine, single seat attack. Nothing finer.
Whoa,
flying low and slow.
All right, I want to come back to that. So when did you go to flight school? What year was that?
So I went to Columbus, Mississippi in January of 1982. Graduated in November 30th of 82. Then went to fighter lead in Alamogordo, New Mexico, Holloman Air Force Base, and then for 3 months, and then went to Tucson for 6 months to learn how to fly the A-7.
Was that with the RAG or the RTU?
The RTU, yeah. So it's a Guard deal, right? Yeah. And in the Guard, if it was a good deal, they would extend it. If it was a shitty deal, they make it short. So officer school in the Guard at that time was in Knoxville. It was only 6 weeks long instead of 3 months. And then RTU, when the Air Force had the A-7, it was 3 months. The Guard made it 6 months and didn't add an event to the syllabus.
So because that's back when the Guard was awesome, right?
Oh, yeah, because they had this big stamp, I don't know if you saw it, Fig, when you were in the Guard, but it was, if there were regs that the Guard didn't like, they just had this stamp said not applicable to the ANG, and they stamped it on there.
I never saw that stamp.
Oh yeah. So a book would be like this in the Air Force, and the Guard would be like that.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How awesome is
that? Was a good old
Somebody had
days.
some common sense. But
it was a flying club. I mean,
so 3
really
months of school all crammed into 6 months. That's fantastic.
It was. It really was.
So
maybe fly once or twice a week.
You got to tell us. I know, right? You've got to tell us, though. I mean, 6 weeks of officer school, it had to be grueling. Tell us about it.
Yeah.
It was really grueling. Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
The Academy of Military Science. It's a Guard officer school. 6 weeks. Yeah. The first week, I guess the fun part, the first week was all fun. On Friday night was Hell Night.
Oh.
Okay.
And a friend of mine and I were in the gym playing basketball. And we heard this commotion.
No ladies at the O Club?
We couldn't go to the O Club then.
Wait, hold on a second. So, you're at Officer Candidate School. Friday night, you're in the gym playing basketball. So all of a sudden, my record's off the.
There's well, wait till you hear this, Fig. There's commotion outside. My friend Dave and I are saying they're looking outside, and it's like, and one of the guys that worked in the gym, he goes, "You guys might want to go out for that." So it was Hell Night, and we're out there, on the parade ground, and the instructors are giving us a bunch of shit. And one of the instructors looks at one of the officer candidates and says, "Drop and give me one." Wow. And everybody lost their shit. The instructors will laugh. They go, "Okay, we're done." But the good thing about that, the old barracks where you have, the 2 stories and you've got a day room in the center.
Yes.
Well, on the second floor, there's a gold bar, they called it. And that was the opening of the gold bar. And it was open for every night from 8 to 10. You go up there, you can drink all you wanted. The last call was 10 o'clock. You buy a 6-pack at 10 o'clock at night. That was off.
So
much like PLCs, as I recall. What do you think, Fig?
So Hell Night started with some kind of commotion. You went out of the gym, and then there was some ruckus, and it was all right. Get down and give me one.
Drop and give me one.
Give me a push-up.
And that was that.
That was that,
dude. Yeah. What? We
wait
up so bad. RePete.
So wait till you hear the rest of this, Fig. So on week 4, the honor flight could go to the O Club and go off base. On week 5, everybody else could go to the O Club. So we would go with our flight commander and we drink with him. And then the last week, because we could go off base, because we started out honor flight, our goal was to graduate, and we went from the top to the bottom. And so the last week we drink with our flight commander and we drive him home.
What?
That was it.
Wow.
That was AMS.
So there's no crazy stories. No, I mean, nobody freaked out and DOR'd and left. And
no, it was too easy. It was.
Now I know for a fact that had I known about the Air Guard, I would never have flown in the Marine Corps.
It's the best kept secret in the world.
How many officer candidates were in your class, roughly?
Oh God, I think there were 76. I think maybe
was it just one class there at a time type thing?
Yeah, one class at a time. So you're there for 6 weeks, and I think they took a week off, then they bring another class in for another 6 weeks.
Wow. So I've been to Knoxville, and I stayed where you stayed when I was doing some advanced PME shit for the Guard. They had everybody there. We were doing this accelerated course. You'd stay there for a week. So I'm pretty sure I stayed pretty much where you guys were.
Yeah, and that professional military education.
Yes, thank you for that. And that was a pretty nice area. It is.
It's a wonderful area,
And so now knowing that was where Academy of Military Science, AMS, is that what you call it?
Yeah, the
Holy
Academy.
Shit. We really fucked up, RePete.
The Academy.
The Academy.
The Academy of Military Science. Well, that's outstanding. So from there you went to UPT.
Well, I went to flight screening first in Hondo, Texas.
Okay.
Got a whole 18 hours.
Tell us about that. What's that process like?
Yeah, what's that look like?
So you go down to Hondo, and so the Air Force had their flight screening program there. And at that time, we stayed at the Medina Annex of Lackland Air Force Base. And that was where their officer school was. So they had fish pots. The people that are going through flight screening, they called them fish pots. So they had their own dorm, and then you had the OTS students, officer training school students, on the same campus.
And that's the active duty
Active duty, yeah.
Officer training. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we show up, first day we go to the fish pot dorm, and because we got academics, right? We walk in the dorm, this guy says, room 10 hut. And all of us just braced up against the wall. There's like 8 or 10 of us. And we stand there for what seemed like 5 minutes. All of a sudden we looked like, wait a minute, he called the room to attention for us because we were lieutenants down there.
You're
locking your body up for yourself.
Oh, that's
we
great.
were. So it's a month down there, and we had a great time because on Friday night I think there were 8 of us, and we had all gone to officer school together. So 2 guys each weekend were responsible for getting a car, and we'd rent a car and go downtown San Antonio on Friday night.
Okay, that doesn't sound bad.
First weekend we were there, I get back home on Saturday morning, and I got bruises all over my body.
Oh no!
Because at the old Hemisphere where they had the World's Fair, and I think it was '68. They still had bumper cars. Well, we had been drinking, and we decided we were going to ride the bumper cars.
Well, I don't know why not.
We beat the shit out of each other.
So what what do you call that time down there?
Pre-flight screening, flight screening.
Flight screening. What was the airplane that you guys were flying?
T-41, Cessna 172,
Okay.
the Air Force version of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and was the purpose was to just make sure you didn't get, constantly airsick.
The purpose, it was for people that I didn't have a license when I went down. So the Air Force does it now. I think it's in Pueblo, Colorado. And they used to send people to an FBO to get their license. Then they moved to Pueblo after they closed Hondo. And it was just to see if you had the capability to make it through pilot training.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no guarantee.
Sure.
Right. So, just an orientation, I guess, more than anything. And,
You soloed. I know I soloed there. I was there a couple months ago with the job that I was working at that time. And first time I'd been back since 1981.
Okay.
So
was it changed a lot, or was it
the Air Force? Well, the Air Force is gone there. So yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember it that much. I mean, I was so oblivious to anything around me other than flying. And that was on the weekends.
I totally get it. I understand. I'm not gonna press you on that. But thank you. I thought Hondo, Texas, was way the hell out in the middle of nowhere. That was just. Is it just
it is.
outside of San Antonio?
It's about an hour out of San Antonio.
Okay.
Yeah, we take a bus every day. And if you had most of the time you only flew once. If you had a long day, you got to go to the great restaurant that was in town, Sonic. That's the only thing they had.
Yes.
The Sonic.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and then on to UPT after that.
On to UPT, Columbus, Mississippi.
Okay. So you and Fig were practically neighbors. Fig was a Meridian.
Yeah, I was a Meridian.
When were you there?
You were there. Oh, you were there a couple of years. I was there I got there in the fall of '88.
Okay.
I got there in August of '88 is when August of '88. You're long gone by then, I'm sure.
August of '88, I was getting off probation at my first real airline job.
Awesome.
Can I say the name, Pete, since they're not around anymore?
Yeah.
Flying Tigers.
Flying Tigers. That's a precursor to another big airline, I do believe.
Yeah.
It is. The international portion of that other airline.
So the original Flying Tigers, what kind of aircraft were you flying?
I was a 747 engineer, 747 for 5.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, and the beauty of the Guard is that at that time, the Air Force had a 6-year commitment for graduating from pilot training when I graduated.
Okay.
And I got hired at Tigers 1.5 years before anybody in my pilot training class could get out of the Air Force.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And,
how about that?
And as you guys know, seniority is everything.
Everything.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's money. That is so money.
Every day is a number. And people don't think that that's true, but it is true. The guy that hired you the day before you will always have a better schedule than you.
Always.
Yeah. But, Pete, this is Fig, you have a good schedule if it's what you like to do.
Right.
And because I had guys that were senior to me, people at the place I retired from, and they were senior to me, but they didn't like to do what I like to do. So I got what I wanted every month for my last 5 years.
Nice.
It was.
When you retired, what number were you?
54, I believe, in the company. Number 10 on the 777.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what it means?
5,000 guys.
That just means I'm old, you know.
Well,
I got hired
okay,
before everybody.
but I mean, it's awesome because I know what that means. That means, you know, you had a great quality of life. Let's just put it that way.
I did.
Yeah.
I would bid trips that had a deadheaded to back end, and I would get home at least a day early from the schedule.
Hey, for our non-airline pilot listeners, what does that mean, deadhead on the back end?
So the company at the end of the trip would schedule a flight on an airline. And so I would go from pretty much Asia back, and I lived in Arizona at the time. So they'd fly us back to either LA or San Francisco, and we could change our flights. So we didn't have to do what they scheduled all the time. And so instead of laying over in San Francisco, I'd schedule something that got me home, where I get to San Francisco, just switch airplanes and go home.
Right.
So I get home at least a day early.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Bago's dropping pictures of probably some
That picture-
Sticks is in there too. Yeah.
That 7.4 on the tail.
Had a 7.4 on its tail. Yeah.
I believe that's in Frankfurt, and they had a pallet slide through the back end of the airplane.
Oh, shit.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's why you still go into Cologne, and the UPS has these great big poles that extend down from the back of the 747 to keep it from landing on its tail when they load it back. So, yeah.
So did that happen when it was stationary, or was it taxiing and it rolled and it?
Oh, that was taxiing.
No, that was takeoff.
What?
Rolling down the runway, they rotate, and the cargo shift, and the captain was able to reject.
And it ended up on his tail, just like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
I believe that's that picture of it. Yeah.
Well, good for him getting it stopped then, because we all remember the horrible video out of Baghdad, or not Baghdad, Bagram, where National Airlines had a cargo shift that
that was
killed that whole crew.
It was horrific to watch. Horrific.
It was. It was.
It's a positive attitude. Who put that up there?
Somebody's comment.
That's dicks.
That's comment in the thing, which was actually
the Reverend Barry Moore's on here. Hey, Barry.
There
Moore.
you go. Barry's in there. But earlier, Diz said he remembered the DC-8s. You ever fly the DC-8 at Tigers?
No, I did not. They started buying them right before I got hired, and then when they were bought by another company, they got rid of the DC-8s after I think it was a couple of years.
Okay.
So
that was
guys told stories about the DC-8. It was just incredible.
Yeah. I still remember. So I got there after about 5 years after Flying Tigers was bought, but it was still pretty hostile in the cockpit. Every now and then you'd get a purple guy and a silver guy and think, man, they're going to have a fist fight, and I'm going to get my first landing. I'm a flight engineer, but they're going to knock each other out, and I'm going to get a landing.
I never saw any of that, Pete, because I stayed on the 7.4 for another 3.5 years after the merger. So I was just flying with Tiger guys.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to show my ignorance here, and I thought that it just morphed into that other airline. I didn't realize there was a merger.
No, $750 million.
Right.
That's what it
cost. Bought them outright. Yeah.
So how many pilots got rolled into how many pilots? Do you recall, Chubbs?
Roughly about 800 each seniority list.
Oh, okay.
So it pretty much went one for one. The guys that got hurt the most were the fairly mid-level Tiger guys, because Flying Tigers had bought Seaboard World, and they merged those guys, and they got put pretty much to the bottom because they were junior, and now they lost more seniority with the merger.
Okay,
but they end up doing well, Yeah.
But the lawsuits ended somewhere around 2003, if I recall.
Oh my gosh!
Is that when it was? Yeah.
Yeah, there were lawsuits flying for decades.
Well, those things are never easy, and
No.
for our non-aviation, non-airline listeners, when you merge two seniority lists at airlines, even
Someone's always going to be pissed.
no one's going to be happy.
Yeah. No.
It can be very emotional. It can be very well. If you don't have the right attitude, it'll ruin your life. You'll be angry for the rest of your life, which is no way to be. But,
And in some cases, justifiably so. I mean, I had a buddy, he was at TWA, and they got bought by American Airlines. And, of course, he wore the American Airlines uniform for about 2 months, then got furloughed. And there were guys hired after he got furloughed that were flying the line, and he was still out on furlough. And so he, needless to say, he resents American, and he resents the union who sold them out because he believes that the union was sold out the TWA guys in order to get favor with the American pilots, hoping they would come back into the union. So
weird.
Yeah, my only thing on that with the TWA is what did they do to the Ozark pilots when they bought Ozark?
Yeah. Staple them on the bottom.
Well, you boys sit over there in the corner, and we'll get to you when we get to you.
That's right. It's like,
right? That's how it works.
What goes around comes around, I mean, I hate to say that, but
well, but Fig put it right. Someone's going to be miserable.
Yeah. Okay, we went way sideways.
Let's get into the good shit. Yeah,
we went way
down
sideways.
the hill.
So let's come back. Let's come back for a second. So I'm going to ask Chubbs, when you were fighter lead in or whatever you call it, when you were flying the
A7,
the T-38,
T-38
before you went to RTU,
flight school.
Was there any
fun happen there?
Yeah, any crazy shit happen?
Not really crazy shit. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, the craziest thing that I had happen, in all honesty, because it's pretty benign, I mean, you're learning how to fight. That was pilot training.
There we go.
And there are 4 of us in there that work with Pete. So,
oh, no kidding. All right.
Yeah. But anyway, at
I had
fighter
a picture
lead in,
of his T-38 class up on the screen for the listeners.
So 2 things happened at fighter lead in that were kind of one day we're going to the range, and the instructor that I had was an old A7 guy. So the flight commander's briefing the flight, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, would you explain about offset aiming for me?" Which offset aiming is, as you guys know, it's based on your wind correction and how you're going to aim to drop your bombs, right?
Yeah.
Well, I look over at my instructor, and he kind of chuckles at me, and he goes, and he just chuckles. And I look at the flight commander, I go, "It doesn't mean shit to me because I'm going to be dropping computed bombs." He looks at me and goes, "Fuck you." And asks the next guy the question.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the other method was TLAR, right? That looks about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, dropping computer bombs with the A7, and because it had an INS, inertial navigation system, and the A7 was a great bomber. So I'm like, I'm going to be dropping computer bombs. I don't care.
Did it have
a top speed on that? Was it
what,
right at Mach 1?
A7?
Yeah.
About 9.92, 93. It was not supersonic.
Okay.
I don't think you could even get it supersonic in a dive because of that big mouth in the front of it. It was a big speed break.
Yeah. So, as were the intakes on a Harrier. But you could get the Harrier to 1.0.
Well, I don't know.
At least the Harrier had a pointed nose.
Yeah.
It did. Yeah.
No, I got a Harrier to 1.02 or something like that, and got my ass chewed for it. So
I couldn't get it to go. Straight down, full power. I couldn't get it to go. Of course, it was probably pilot technique.
Well, I also did it on a Slick Bird and on a PMCF. So.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. Then there's that. All right.
Yeah.
I had probably
with no shit hanging off the wings, you can do that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, you can.
Oh man. So
right. was the RTU in Tucson? Was it that was the guard? Was there international people flying?
No, not in the A7
back then. Okay,
not in the A7. I went out to Tucson in the Guard in January of '89, and they had just gotten Dutch students then. So And at that time, part-timers weren't allowed to fly with Dutch students because that was the contract that the Dutch signed.
In January 89, did you go out there to be an instructor?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, nice.
I spent my last 5.5 years there. I was one of the lucky ones. They offered a 15-year retirement in 94, and I pulled the cord, man. I'm out of here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, how many hours? How many hours did you get?
There you go. Speaking of guys being happy and unhappy, I got 16 good years, and I didn't even get a boot in the ass. So.
Yeah. Well, I had 2.5 years of enlisted time before I went to pilot training. So I got 1,500 hours in the A7 and 300 hours in the F-16.
Well, we completely glossed over the whole enlisted time thing here. I'm assuming that was also in the Ohio Guard?
In the Ohio Guard, I loaded bombs for 2.5 years.
Okay.
That was so much fun. It really was. Yeah. Because we got to go. I love to travel, and I got to go wherever the airplanes went sometimes,
Yeah.
So
how'd they move you around? They pick you up in a C-130 and take you out there a week ahead of time so you meet the planes when they came in?
So we would go. We had a state airplane was a C-131, old Convair. They had C-123s in the reserves at Rickenbacker. And I remember we flew from Eglin to Rickenbacker one day, and it took like 8 hours. They had to stop for fuel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Set the clocks back.
Everybody needed a shave and a haircut by the time they got to where they were going. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't your guard, so maybe not. But
oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, and a question from Barry is CCIP and the HUD in the A7.
Barry, I believe that it was the first airplane that dropped computed bombs. And I know CCIP was incredible in the A7.
Yeah, constantly computed impact point.
Yeah, it was in the A4 or in the Harrier, too. This son of a bitch was accurate.
That's where you put the thing on the thing.
Just put the thing on the thing.
Really so the A7 had you had the bomb fall line up and down, and then you had a line that came up, and when it intersected your target, that's where you dropped.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the F-16 had a circle, and you put the circle over the thing.
Just put the thing on the thing.
Yeah, thing on the thing.
And I want to I'm sorry, just a second here to acknowledge we lost Bacchus this week. Bacchus's show 118, I believe, and that show is entitled You Put the Thing on the Thing. Bacchus was fighting cancer a year ago when he visited with us. A little over, actually closer to 2 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Gosh, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it was 2024. Okay. And Bacchus was a retired brigadier general, retired Boston Center supervisor, and retired also from FedEx. What a great gentleman. You would never know that the guy was a general officer in the military. Just as humble as can be. As happy as can be to pour you a cup of coffee and do anything he could for you. And what a great gentleman. So
awesome
our prayers
American.
to Bacchus and his family. So
episode 118. Put the thing on the thing.
On the thing. Yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry. I've taken us down a sad rabbit hole. Let's
it doesn't have to be sad. We can celebrate him, man. The man was awesome. Yeah. Here's to Bacchus.
There's a glass, man.
Good day, Bacchus.
Throw a nickel in the grass.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Okay, F-16. So when they transitioned to the F-16s, you were there for that.
Yeah. Well, when I got out there, they already had F-16. So they were running two RTUs, the F-16 and the A7 at the same time. And then the Air Force phased out the A7s after the first Gulf War, and about 94 I think 94 was the last A7 flight in the Air Force or in the Guard. And so it was 92 that I went through F-16 school. So I had to take 7 months off from work. And the transition was fairly simple. We had to have 100 hours from the time we started until we finished, including the instructor course, so we could teach.
Okay.
But the difference, I could go in Tucson, fly in the A7. I could be gone for a week or 3 or 4 weeks and come back. And within 15 minutes, I felt comfortable in the airplane. The F-16, I would go for 3 or 4 weeks, come back, and it'd take me about a week before I started getting comfortable again. Okay. Because I flew the A7 as a lieutenant. I flew a lot,
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
It was like a nice pair of jeans, your old pair of jeans when you put them on.
It was.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine the F-16 was probably a lot more HOTAS, hands on throttle and stick, and computer.
It was. Yeah, that was
as opposed to just flying.
Yeah, you had to learn how to do all that stuff. I mean, and that was more the air to air. Dropping bombs is easy, man. Yeah.
So the A7 was a pilot's plane. I mean, you had to fly it. The F-16 was fly by wire.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, the A7 would talk to you. You could feel the airplane. You're making turns, and you could feel the airplane. It would talk to you. Where the F-16 was so smooth and clean, you had no idea what you were doing speed wise, unless you looked.
Okay, that could be scary.
That makes sense, actually.
Right?
But,
yeah.
And as they say, you got, or more than one person say you voted in the F-16. You didn't fly it.
Yeah, there are 3 votes, man. You got one of them.
And it would go, okay, I'll give you this.
3 votes, you got one.
That's right.
Oh, that's great.
So
okay,
you ever hear the reason the F-16 has a canted seat like 30 degrees?
Yeah. Right
in the cockpit, and the story they say is it's for pulling G's. It helps you.
Okay.
Yeah, the seat was too big.
Was it also to get your head out of the way of the canopy?
Oh no, it was the seat was too big, I think, to go straight up and down. Although refueling in the back seat, the probe would be right over your head. I mean, you're looking at it, hoping that they don't hit the canopy.
Right.
With the boom.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Air Force, they fly the boom into the receiver as opposed to Navy Marine way. Oh.
We don't put the thing in the basket.
Yeah. What about, so let me ask about ejecting though. So if you're sitting back like that, if you pulled the handle, were the rails canted as well, or were the rails more straight up and the seat was just canted?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what the, that's, so, I mean,
you probably, the whole thing is you put your head back, against the back of the seat when you eject. So,
right. As opposed to putting it down between your knees and kissing your ass goodbye.
Yeah, that's right. You do that when you're floating down.
That's right.
And the chute doesn't open.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question to ask before we get too far downrange, and I forget. I got an annotation here so I don't forget. Chubbs. How did you get Chubbs as a call sign?
So that was the other story at Holloman. They had an operational readiness inspection, ORI, and so we had to go weigh in. And when I was in pilot training, I was always on the Fat Boy program. I had to go up every Monday morning with a great friend of mine who was at our old company, Pete, and we'd weigh in. We were never overweight, but we were within 10% of our max. So we had to go in and weigh in every Monday. Well, I'm at Holloman, and they do the weigh-in, and they send a letter back to Rickenbacker, and it goes up on the bulletin board in the squadron that, hey, he's within, 10 pounds of his max. Well, one of the guys was down at MacDill in Orlando or in Tampa, and he saw this ad in the newspaper, Chubby's Pizza. So he puts it on the bulletin board, and one of my buddies who was a former weapons loader and pilot, and he goes, "Oh, Chubbs." So that's how I got my call sign.
That's that.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're putting up the picture under the He Fat General Store
in Kauai.
In Kauai.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man. Hey, you got to embrace it, man.
Hey, man, I do. You can't fight it,
No, well, it's like it's like blood in the water. If you try to fight something that they give you, it's going to stick even worse. Matter of fact, it could get worse. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So my buddy that named me, his call sign's Butthead.
There you go.
I think Chubbs is an awesome call sign compared to Butthead. I think Chubbs is an awesome call sign, period.
That's great.
Thanks, man.
Oh, man. You just say the ladies at the club gave me that one.
Yeah, I don't think they'd say that.
Oh, well,
Hold on a second. I don't get it. What do you mean?
I'm getting a chubby. I know. I'm a sick bastard. I embrace it.
Oh,
man.
gee whiz, that went
Holy
downhill
shit.
fast.
Oh, you know what else we passed up here? One of the notes you gave us was the
Is there notes?
the lieutenant assault vehicle. I'd like to hear about that, and then we want to chat
so-
about our sponsor. But yeah.
Yeah. So the lieutenant assault vehicle was not my vehicle. One of my buddies at Rickenbacker bought an old Crown Victoria police car.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think it was like $200 or $300. Landshark, that's right. And so the first time I ride in it is with our ops officer. We're going up to the security police, and Otis, my buddy, had just bought it. So when he'd step on the accelerator, he hadn't bolted the seats in yet. So we go flying backwards and stuff. It still had the siren. So and they would go through at least 2 rear tires a week because they'd burn out places. We went up to Ohio State for water survival and stopped at one of the guys' houses in Upper Arlington, which is a really nice neighborhood in Columbus by Ohio State. And all of a sudden, we get ready to leave, and there's this cloud of smoke, like in Animal House, when the cake comes through.
Yes.
Yeah, cloud of smoke with the siren going, and just boom, we go. But at an air show, the Thunderbirds were there, and one of the older guys, we called them old guys there. They were young bucks and old bucks at Rickenbacker.
Okay.
And the young bucks were basically the lieutenants and below, and the old bucks were majors and above. Captains were kind of in between. And at the air
Depending
show,
whether they were dicks or not, they were old bucks or young bucks, I'm guessing.
the
Vicious pack of lieutenants.
Lieutenant assault vehicle was camouflaged by the paint shop. And so at the air show, it gets stolen a couple days before the air show. Oh. And on Saturday or Sunday, I forget which day at the air show, there's an announcement made that, this car needs to be moved so the Thunderbirds can perform. Well, then 5 minutes later, you need to move this car. And then it's like my buddy, they announce his name, you need to move your car. Next thing we know, there's a helicopter flying over the middle of the air between the 2 runways at Rickenbacker with a car hanging below it. And I'm standing next to my buddy, like, we're laughing, right? They release the car and it starts falling. And my buddy's like, wait a minute, that's my car. The trunk opened and his fucking clothes were flying out of it. It hits the ground, smashes. Next day, the Sky Cops, you guys know how Sky Cops are because they got a real good sense of humor. The car's maybe knee high. It was flattened that much. It's sitting in the parking lot in ops.
Oh,
and they come and they go, whose car is this? And one of my buddies he goes, well, it's my roommate's. And so they write up the report, and his name that we ended up calling him Nick because that we called him by his nickname. So they write down Chip nickname. And that was it. That was Lieutenant Assault Vehicle, and it went everywhere. I mean, there were times where you'd go out, we'd all go out, to bars and stuff, the young guys. Yeah. And somebody'd borrow the keys, they'd go out, start, burning rubber and blow a tire and walk inside with the siren still going.
Oh, man. Did he ever get his clothes back?
I don't know if he did or not. But then they bought a hearse. Awesome. So the money he got from it, because the old guys took up a collection. The young guys said, we're not paying for anything because you guys screwed up. You're supposed to have a replacement for it to drop, and they didn't. So he bought a hearse, and the hearse's name was Herschel.
Herschel. Of course it was. Well, I mean, why wouldn't it be? Herschel the hearse. Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Well, and that makes complete sense. I heard all kinds of stories. Every squadron seems like every squadron had a car. Every guard squadron had a car, and I didn't know this. They called them IFR cars. So you can, any kind of weather, you could just drive them and yeah.
That was the one because my buddy bought it, and it was a car. So
how nice
he lost his car at an air show.
Well, that's a story. You don't hear that every day.
No.
And so it got stolen. You say it was stolen. Was it really stolen, or did it get misappropriated?
So what it was so one of the guys in the squadron took it, and we had one of our guys was a Columbus police officer, so he kind of covered for him. Said, "Hey, if you told the police station, if you get a call from this guy that his car is stolen, don't worry, we got it covered."
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But fixed by a collection. So that's that's how USAA started, right? Officers insuring each other for that.
That's right.
no insurance company, but oh well. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, so I want to chat briefly about our newest sponsor. And if you're one of those people who tends to blast through sponsors spots, please don't for this one, because Derek Combs is an amazing artist. And I want to tell you about what he has going on. So there I was, staring at a wall that should have been impressive, but it wasn't. And then DCArtworks.net fixed that problem for me. If you've ever looked at your office, hangar, bar, squadron space, or the blank wall behind your Zoom camera and thought this needs something with authority, stop what you're doing right now and go to DCArtworks.net. Our newest sponsor is American-made, veteran-owned, and run by a gent named Derek Combs, who specializes in turning steel into statements. Not decor, not wall clutter, statements. Every piece starts off being precision laser cut, hardened steel, heavy duty, but lightweight, and then gets hand finished by Derek or one of his team. No flimsy metal, no bending, no mass-produced sameness. In fact, no two pieces are identical. If you like knowing the thing on your wall isn't hanging in 5,000 other homes or offices, then this is your guy. And here's the part that matters. 95% of what DC Artworks produces is custom. The design library on DCArtworks.net is updated constantly, but that's just the launch point. The squadron logos, call signs, aviation themes, business branding, one-off gifts, big statement pieces, all can be yours. Case in point, I have a set of naval aviator wings almost 2 feet across, and they're exquisite. People don't glance at them. They stop. They ask questions. That's what Derek builds. DC Artworks also specializes in metal art fabrication, powder coating, and multi-material engraving, meaning depth, texture, and color photographs don't do them justice. He's a military GPC vendor, one of the lowest priced vendors in the business, with bulk and repeat discounts available. And for our listeners, this part is permanent. Use code STIW at DCArtworks.net and get 20% off every order forever, even if another discount is already running. That's special. Most people won't do that. STIW is the code, 20% off anything you order from DCArtworks.net. We're talking aviation-specific projects here, pilot wings, airline wings, all of it. But the real move is this. Go to DCArtworks.net right now, browse, then contact Derek and commission something that's yours. Because when you see what's possible, your wall has already made the decision for you. And thanks to DCArtworks.net for sponsoring this episode. I mean, this guy does some amazing pieces. So thank you very much, Derek, for the
Spot on.
For the artwork you've given us.
Yeah.
For those watching live, there's one over my shoulder here behind me. My wings, they're amazing.
I have the same set down in my bar that he sent to me. Outstanding. 3D, all metal. Just amazing.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it when I got those. I'm like, these are gold.
He sent me, I have a Harrier, like a plan view of a Harrier bottle opener.
Yeah.
One side is Marine Corps flag. The other side is American flag. It's awesome. It's kind of the shape of the A model, a little more sleek.
Yeah. Because where the outriggers are out by the wingtips instead of mid-wing.
Yes.
That was a slick little jet. Holy smokes. All right. Well, back, however, here to Chubbs, because he's got some good stuff to chat about. Where to go? I've got some great stories here to talk about. You know what? So I told this story last week about a particular ornery captain who was not real into having relief pilots on his airplane. And he would tell relief pilots, I don't want to hear from you. If you have something to say, turn the checklist sideways, wait till I acknowledge you, and then I will take your input. Otherwise, sit there, shut the fuck up, and we'll go from there.
So you're describing a absolute master at the art of cockpit resource management.
Absolutely. Well, Chubbs happens to know that story's true. And Chubbs is the guy who took his airplane from him and went to England one night.
I can't wait to hear
Chubbs,
this
would you
firsthand.
tell us how all that came about? What do you know about?
Please do.
How did it wind up getting to you? Of course, you're a check airman at the airline at the time, the MD-11. How did it wind up even getting to you?
So I happened to be in the scheduler's office one morning, and these MD-11 standards manager comes into the office and said, "Hey, I got to get this guy a line check tonight." Unfortunately, I wish it was Stansted. We end up going to Atlanta out and back, AM out and back. Which
okay.
I hate those. Okay. There's a good Stansted story about this guy though, and so the standards manager, looks at the schedule and goes, "I got to get somebody to do it tonight." And I happened to be in his office, and he wanted to have a standards check airman do
couldn't
it.
Get small.
No, I couldn't. And the scheduler goes, "Well, Dougie's here; he can do it." And so the standards manager goes, "Yeah, I'd rather just have a check airman do it." And he looks at me and he goes, "I will be in at 7 a.m. I know you'll do the right thing." Well, we show up. I show up an hour before showtime, which is like 2:30 in the morning. Flight was going to go to Atlanta and then lay over. We sit there for like an hour and a half, and come back and get back into Memphis about 7 a.m. So we go. I show up an hour before. I see the captain roaming around the crew room, and about 5 minutes before showtime, I see the first officer, and I knew the first officer. I'd flown with him before. And I came up to him and said, "Hey, man, I'm going with you guys tonight." His face turned white. And I'm like, "What's going on here? What are you worried about?" He goes, "Well, if he busted check ride, I busted check ride." I said, "Dude, you're fine. It doesn't involve you."
As long as you don't try to kill us.
Yeah. And he told me, he goes, "I've been flying with the guy for 2 months." I go, "Really?" I go, "Well, at showtime." I said, "Where is he?" He goes, "Oh, he's out at the airplane sleeping." And I don't have a problem with the guy sleeping on the airplane, as you can see, or Pete probably showed that.
As long as it's in flight.
Yeah. Well, even then, he had everything ready. But in the flight operations manual, there's a meet and greet where you meet your crew members, you go over the flight plan, the weather, and everything else. Well, this guy told me, he goes, "I've been flying with him for 2 months." And he goes, "The first time I met him was ACARS chimed on the airplane with the weight and balance. And he woke up and I introduced myself to him." I said, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." So luckily that night, the duty officer was in the crew room, and I went up to him and I said, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this guy off the airplane." But I said, "Would you go out with me?" He goes, "You want me to do it?" And I go, "No, I just want you to be there in case something happens. I've got a witness." Go out. Captain's sound asleep. He's back like this in the seat, which is a good position to sleep. Sure. Not that I've ever done it in that airplane, but
But you've had friends here that.
I've had friends. So anyway, I tap him on the shoulder. I introduced myself and I said, "You just busted a line check." And he goes, "What do you mean?" And I read the chapter and verse, of the flight operations manual. And he goes, "Well, I do this all the time." I go, "That's the problem," because he check airman from another airplane had complained about the lack of communication in the cockpit the morning before. So we boot him off the airplane. He goes back inside.
Oh, so you did jump seating?
No, I was going to jump seat. Yeah, I was going to be.
No, so I'm saying a jump seating check airman.
Yeah,
reported it.
Yeah,
okay.
the day
how
before.
It got to you.
Yeah, okay. And so we're moving from the flight. He comes back about 5 or 10 minutes later. He'd left something on board. He's a perfect gentleman, Yeah. But then, he goes inside and calls crew schedule. Says, "Hey, you guys got anything for me? Because I just got pulled off this flight." And they go, "You're not qualified."
You just busted a line.
Yeah, you busted a check ride. You are not qualified. So
he tried to pick up a flight.
You got anything else for me? I just got pulled off the flight.
So maybe I can get some overtime. Get time and a half on another flight.
So he gets a few months off. He was one of the original 30 pilots at FedEx. And it was a big deal.
The dirty 30, we called him.
The dirty 30. He had never been the first officer before.
Oh, street captain.
But then they put him in the right seat for 2 years. So
was it 2 years? I thought it was just 6 months.
No, it's supposed to be 2 years. It may not have lasted the 2 years.
Yeah.
But he was told that if there was ever another, and this is a letter that he signed, if there was another CRM incident, he would be fired on the spot.
Yeah.
There's some motivation.
Yeah, they called them last chance letters. They'd issue them to guys and see.
Wow.
So you'll like the rest of this story, though, Pete.
Okay.
And Fig. So I'm jump seating to Memphis one night from Tucson on the 727, and we're sitting on the ground in Tucson, and the first officer is telling the story about the check ride. And he's got everything right. I mean, very factual, perfect. Until he gets to the point where he said that the check airman and the captain got into a fist fight. I go, dude, it didn't happen that way. He goes, oh, yeah, they did this and this. I go, really, trust me, dude, it didn't happen that way. He turns around and looks at me and goes, how the fuck do you know? And I go, because I was the fucking check airman. And he slinks down in his seat, and I never heard him say another word the rest of the flight.
Everything else is good.
That's one of those tales that keeps growing and growing. And next thing you know, there were fisticuffs, axe, and a hammer, and a shotgun, and
I thought it was Stansted just because my buddy Scott, he flew Stansted all the time. This guy,
Flash?
He was senior, and
was it Flash?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
Got the slowest growing prostate cancer on the planet and was dead in 18 months.
He was another Rickenbacker sent A7 pilot.
So, quick story about Flash. Got to do this to you. Sorry. So, 1993. Skull, who also has since died of cancer. Yeah. And I guess Skull wanted to get out. He wanted to be a suit. He wanted to go be a headhunter for corporate headhunter to hire guys. And his brother was doing that job. And I'm like, yeah, if you ever don't want to do that, if you want to fly for the rest of your life, let's go get our ATPs together. So Skull and I wander up to 1-800-ALL-ATPs in Richmond, Virginia. And he and I, you do the weekend cram course to get your ATP back in the day.
Yes.
And Skull and I are there, and we run into Flash. And of course, he and Skull, Flash and Skull are like, oh, this is great, wonderful, because Skull wanted to go to Ohio and thought, well, maybe I can get in the Air Guard and still be a headhunter. And Skull lasted about a year and a half at Procter & Gamble and said, fuck this, I'm going back to flying. And he went to United.
Yep. So, that headhunting job's a real job,
Yeah, they expect, that's what he said. He said, they expect results in the civilian world. And that, that kind of sucked. But so he went back to flying. But so Flash and Skull and I were the three at the 1-800-ALL-ATPs. Both of them have since passed cancer. I'm a little scared.
Yeah, no shit. So you want to know another good story about that captain?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yes. So it involves Stansted. When I was a first officer, I wasn't involved in it, but we used to carry our brain bags, with all the JEP stuff.
Right.
And
the 70-pound bag of books.
Yeah. Yeah. And the RFO was a Sims instructor. So he gets out to the airplane and he sits his bag right behind the jump seat, which is up against the circuit breaker panel. Did you hear this? Yeah. So he does his walk around the airplane, comes back, and as he walks towards the cockpit, his brain bag and all the contents are dumped out in the back of outside of the cockpit.
All right.
So I looked at the guy and I go, dude, I said, he put his stuff in the bag and he flew the trip. It was a weekend Stansted trip, or great trips, right? But I looked at him and go, man, I said, you got one of three options. And your option was number 4, and it was wrong, I thought, because it's a hostile environment there. I said, number 1 choice would be to just get off the airplane. Called crew schedule, said, this is what's happening. I can't work with this guy. Number 2, you can escalate and take his suitcase and dump all the contents in the back of the airplane. That would kind of escalate, and he's going to be on the airplane. I thought the best idea was to take his suitcase when he got ready to close the door, sit down on the steps.
Yeah,
so he gets to Stansted. He got shit for the weekend.
Right.
But that was kind of the stuff that he did to people.
And this was the same captain that you busted on the check ride?
Yeah. That was before I dealt with him.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was, and here's the thing. There were a couple of those guys. I flew with several of the Dirty 30, and most of them were wonderful gentlemen. But as you said, they never were first officers. They never understood. These guys started as Falcon captains, and some of them were amazing. And there's some great stories. There's a book called Overnight Success, which talks about the forming and foundation of FedEx and all that. And there was the gent who literally filled up a Falcon on his personal Visa credit card. because
Yeah.
the FBO that he was at said they ain't paid their bills and we ain't filling you. And then he goes, okay, here's my Visa card. And Fred Smith cut the guy a check when he got back the next day. Said, okay, thank you for doing that and making sure that the product got delivered, and here's your money. So there were some of those wonderful guys. One of my favorites was a gent. I won't use his last name. His first name was Lou. And apparently he would write up, things like left landing light is aimed 4 degrees too high.
I know who you're talking
That
about.
kind of shit. Yeah. And so maintenance hated this guy. And one of my favorite write-ups that he had, and I personally saw this, swear to God it's true, Captain Seat Cushion Too Thin. And maintenance signed it off, CND, could not duplicate.
That's spectacular.
Yeah.
I remember flying with one of those guys, Pete, and he was number one in the company for probably 5 or 6 years. And I looked at him and go, so what do you bid? And he goes, I don't bid. I choose. But I better choose wisely because I'm going to get what I choose.
Yeah. That's true. There were times, look, I've been senior and junior both, and it actually got a little more difficult when I got some seniority because I was likely going to fly one of my first 2 or 3 choices. And that's a first world problem, brother. As they say, Steve Martin's definition of a first world problem is, I think my masseuse is a little chatty, but but having to fly something that you choose is kind of go, shit, what did I screw up? How is it that I'm flying this? Oh no, it's a good
You can't blame anybody else but yourself.
That's right.
You can't.
That's right.
Well, except during COVID.
Well,
That was a different story. So
Yeah, that was weird. That was just a weird time.
it was. Flying international, we were locked down. You would go a week.
Yeah. So
week
what
and
did
a
that
half.
look like exactly?
That's what the cockpit looked like.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you guys did. Well, you guys weren't wearing your mask when you weren't on the ground, right?
Oh hell, we weren't wearing them.
I've got a picture up of a flight deck with 3 guys wearing their mask in COVID days, and it depended on the captain. I never did, but I knew guys that made everybody wear their captain pre-flight, during flight, all that shit.
Yeah, the worst part, Fig, was international. Sydney used to be one of the greatest layovers that we had, and it sucked. We'd get locked in our room. The only time you could go out of your room was to leave the hotel when you were going to leave.
Leaving to go to depart.
And then you go to Guangzhou to be locked up for another 3 or 4 days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And this is why I will likely never go back to Australia. We were escorted to our rooms by a police officer. The front desk handed the police officer a room key, the plastic key card. They would then escort us to the room and go, leave your room, go to jail.
Yeah. And the key did not work to open your door. It was just for the lights.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Remember,
Yeah, if you left your room, you were locked out. So, and then they deliver your food at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Never mind if you had to sleep nights or sleep days because you had to fly nights. They deliver your food at those times, and your food would sit in the hallway getting cold or hot or whatever. And then if you didn't have your mask on when you they had somebody sitting at the end of the hall who would yell at you if you didn't have your mask on when you opened your door to get your food off the table next to your door.
Wow.
Yeah.
They'd knock on your door and run.
Those people lost their fucking minds.
Oh, they
man.
did. Absolutely did. It was horrible. And
remember when you would go in and you'd have to get a nasal, they'd swab your nasal and stuff for your COVID test. Yeah. And then you would have to walk the Green Mile. Remember walking the Green Mile to get out of there?
Walking the Green.
they had this hallway, right? And there's gates at each end of it. It's a secure area, right?
Yeah,
and it's normally not used, but they'd walk you there. They'd open the gate, you walk down, wait for it to close behind, then they'd open the other gate to let you out. I just called it the Green Mile.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, and remember so you tip the drivers, and the drivers were not allowed to accept tips from us.
Yeah.
Because they could have COVID on them.
They claimed that they got this bad outbreak in Australia from pilots tipping the drivers. They'd either leave it in the seat or throw it in the trunk, because our drivers were great.
Yeah,
they were good guys. Absolutely, they were
unbelievable. So, well, let's just put let's just put a dot on this and say that was the most fucked up period ever.
Yeah.
And well, we've all learned a lot from that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did indeed. I used to, I actually brought a projector with me, a little mini projector about the size of a couple packs of cigarettes. And, go spend 3 days in a Chinese hotel, and I'd watch movies and order dinner and cocktails, and it'd be movie night. It's the way
It's one man
up
party.
the exercise bike in the afternoon. I'd get my, 15 miles in on an exercise bike and then watch a movie in the evening and go back to sleep. Just whatever you could do to keep your sanity. I have no idea how we did that shit, but oh well.
I don't either.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
Got a bunch of other good stories though. So you did some really cool shit as a Czech airman. You did a thing that they called Pathfinder at our airlines because we brought some stuff in and out of some, kind of flying you were doing in the C-130 there, Fig.
So talk about that. Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Yeah, what was a Pathfinder?
So, MD-11, you had to be checked. You had to be invited, and it was always Czech airmen did it, and. So you get checked out. We go into Bagram. It was kind of cool in the MD-11 because you actually got to fly the airplane. We go in at 29,000 feet and then dive as close to the airport as we could.
This is at Bagram, you said? Bagram?
It's at Bagram, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, at first we would go from there, we'd reposition to Dubai until the Iranians figured out we were bringing in stuff for the military and then flying over Iran to go to Dubai. Okay. So we ended up going to Delhi after that.
Kibosh on that, yeah.
Yeah. So one night I'm going in there, and we're flying from Old Han Air Force Base outside of Frankfurt. And we go into Bagram. Usually Baku was our alternate. Well, that night our alternate was Cologne, Germany. So it was a 7.5 hour flight down, and if we had to go missed, we'd have to go back to Cologne another 7.5 hours.
Oh shit! That was the closest legal alternate.
Yeah, well, because it's a military charter, Baku was the only place we could go into with the freight we had if we had to divert, and the weather was down that night. Okay, so we get into Bagram.
Some classified freight, and Diz is asking, is there any chaff or flares? Not on the MD, man.
Not on the MD-11, man.
Right. Hey, what year are we talking, Chubbs?
We're talking, let me see. I'm trying to remember 2009, 8 or 9.
All right. Okay. Yeah, so, I was there.
Yeah. So it was getting lit up.
Yeah.
So we go to Bagram.
Shit was real then. It was pretty awesome.
Well, and we would go at night, because the plan was we'd be on the ground for maybe an hour. They'd unload the and then we'd blast out.
Yeah.
Well, this night we're going in, and where they clear us to land, I can see the runway. I've got a HUD. I've got the.
Were you landing north to south or south to north? Do you recall?
I have no clue.
Okay.
We're coming out. We're heading towards the mountains.
Well, you probably landed north.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. But anyway, I can see the runway. We're cleared to land. And about 500 feet, they go, airport's closed, landing clearance is canceled. Say your intentions. I go, I can see the runway. Okay, he goes, okay, you're cleared to land. We land about half. Yeah.
What the fuck?
About halfway down, it's almost 0-0 down the runway. The fog bank was rolling in.
Oh my gosh.
And they were going to close the airport. And I'm like, we can see the runway. Let us land. So we got to spend the night at Bagram.
How was that? Where did you sleep?
Oh, yeah. They put you up at the Hilton, the Hyatt,
Marriott. Hold on a second. I know there was nothing like
Ritz-Carlton.
that. I want to know where you slept.
Okay, so you know where the Pat Tillman Center was, right? The USO Center?
Yes.
There's a big 100-man tent there.
Yes.
This is in February, right? Yeah. So we get in there, and there's only cots at the front because they have this big airplane heater that's heating that place. So up the front is where all the heat is. Yeah. And in the back, it's nice. I was so hot. The Ritter Sport candy bars, I had one of those in my backpack. It melted. That's how hot it was at the front.
Sleeping with 99 of your closest buddies.
Yeah. But, the interesting thing
with
is.
With a jet engine heating you up.
Yeah. We woke up, got up, and the place was empty. And I did not hear anybody get out of that place.
You must have been tired.
No, it's, Army guys and Marines, they're just like, they want to be quiet because they don't want to wake everybody else up.
Sure.
Well, that and the carbon monoxide.
Well, that
you're
too.
probably half the bag from that.
You're almost dead, but it's no big deal.
Yeah.
So when we
Purple
got there,
fingers.
I called crew scheduling and I go, hey, this is the time we got here. And so we wake up and we're like, we had to have 12 hours off, I think it was. So we were like the 9.5 hour point. And I looked at the rest of the crew and like, we want to get out of here. So I called back, I called crew scheduler and go, hey, what's the earliest we can get out? And the scheduler tells me, I go, well, if I was mistaken in the time that we got off the airplane, could we leave earlier? She goes, yeah, what time did you get off? I told her, and she goes, now you're telling me that you made a mistake. I go, yes, ma'am, I did. You guys are good to go.
It was a horrible mathematical mistake.
Yeah.
The ladder was broken.
Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't have voluntarily stayed one more minute there, if I didn't have to.
Yeah, the month before we had a crew that was there for 3 days.
Oh,
when they had a C-17. Remember when that C-17 landed gear up there?
yes.
We had an airplane land there, and right after they landed, they're getting ready to taxi, and the C-17 landed gear up.
Close the runway down. That was that.
For 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. That's bad luck, man.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Well,
yeah, so that, and I think I went down there maybe 5 or 6 times, and it was always.
You called those, did you say you called those Pathfinder missions?
Yeah.
Pathfinder?
So the captain would bid, the trip was a bid pack trip. Captain would bid it, and then he would get bumped off in Cologne or Frankfurt, and we would Pathfinder would deadhead over. We'd fly the leg into Bagram and then either Delhi or Dubai, wherever they're going to put the airplane back in the system. And then we would deadhead back, and the captain would pick the trip up there.
Okay.
So it was a pretty good deal for us.
And deadhead was a good deal, yeah, because you got first class international.
Hell yeah. On an airline, pretty well, Fig.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a $1 million-mile lifetime because of that.
God bless America. And there's that
C-17
got the
C-17
on the runway.
The float plane C-17 they have there on the runway.
That took a lot of power to taxi. They finally gave up.
They did, man.
Right.
I heard that what they did is they put airbags under it, to lift it up. Yeah. And then the base commander, somebody went up and put the gear down, and then they were able to tow it off the runway.
That didn't surprise me.
Amazing. But this is the life that those Pathfinders lived. I've got a picture up now of Chubbs behind the bar in the back of an A380.
Is that what that is? It looked like a Star Trek transport device.
It does look like a Star Trek transporter. Yeah, you're lucky you weren't transported to another planet while you were standing there.
Oh, that is outstanding.
Yeah, there's the lounge in the back of the A380, which is how those guys flew around the world.
Look at that.
Yeah,
yeah,
good stuff.
There were some perks flying freight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I get it. Totally. And you didn't have to worry about, bitchy
pissed off passengers.
Yeah, or passengers.
Hey, Pete, have you ever had a box bitch before at you?
Not one time, probably. Ever?
Never.
It didn't.
Ever.
It didn't. The only box that ever bitched at me had a chimpanzee in it who was pissed off because he woke up with a dart in his ass at 2 a.m. And then he woke up again in a cage in the back of my airplane.
You want to hear a DC-8 story? This one of my friends told me this. So they've got an airplane full of Rhesus monkeys. And he said the monkeys were loud and they're throwing shit all over the place.
Oh no!
In the back of the airplane. Yeah. So the engineer just dials the temperature down. And he goes back about 15, 20 minutes later. The monkeys are like this, shaking, like, fuck, don't do this to us anymore. We'll be nice.
I did that to a jump seater one night out in Newark. I helped him carry like this 75-pound bag up the stairs. He had like 3 bags. I carried one of his huge bags up the stairs. He didn't say thank you. He didn't say fuck you. He didn't say nothing to me. So I gave him his brief, and he nodded. He didn't say thank you. No, all right, fine, thanks. So I'm plumbing on the DC-10. I turned the temperature all the way down back there, And about the time that we were descending, we were going Newark to Fort Lauderdale at 4 a.m. or whatever. About the time we pushed the nose over to go into Fort Lauderdale, I went back to go to the head, and he goes, "Could you turn the heat up?" I go, "That's all. I just needed to hear one word out of you."
Talk to me, dude.
Yeah, you could have said thank you. That's all you needed to do.
Yeah.
So.
Dizzy says though, we couldn't get by an episode without talking about animal theme. Right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We used to do animal charters all the time out of Sydney back in the old days.
Were you taking like horses, cattle?
Cattle, pigs, donkeys, you name it. We actually
I've had horses. I had a Sumatran tiger, chimpanzee, gooey ducks. You know what a gooey duck is?
Yeah,
look it up.
Heard of.
Nope.
Yeah, they're like a big snail. They're like a 4-pound snail.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're delicacies in Japan, apparently.
I remember one night on the 7-4, we took a load of mules from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, to Brussels, and then the crew took them on from there to Islamabad. It was the election night, 1988, and it was humanitarian aid for the Mujahideen.
Yeah,
they were carrying stingers across the Khyber Pass while they were shooting the Soviets.
Yes, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right.
We carry some interesting stuff,
Yeah.
And the stuff we don't know we carried is scary shit.
Right. Yeah. No kidding. There were times, we had the State Department couriers on board. Even they didn't know how top secret the shit is they were carrying the whole thing.
So you had people escorting the cargo on your plane?
Escorting the cargo, yeah. And
we would
have captains go denying you entrance to the jump seat. I'm not sure who you are.
Yeah.
It's like going, these guys have more top secret compartmentalized clearances than you could make up.
All my crash pad roommates did that twice. So
did
denied
that?
Yeah,
really.
We had this lady one night on the 7-4. We went New York, Boston, Chicago, Anchorage, and then the airplane. I think it ended up in Hong Kong. And this lady is a courier, and ask her. I go, what are you on here for? She goes, I can't tell you. We get to Boston. And this is on the 7-4. I get out. I'm going to do my walk around. I see a bunch of police cars at the back end of the airplane where the cargo door was. Mechanic comes running up. He goes, "How much gold you guys got on the airplane tonight?" She's like, she wouldn't tell us. And mechanics, "Oh yeah, how much gold's there, man?
How much gold is there?"
Yeah, she wouldn't tell us. She didn't even want us to know there was gold on the airplane.
The airplane might get accidentally landed somewhere else, I guess, with all that gold on there.
Maybe.
Well, it happened the night we actually had a jet land in Stewart. It was on fire going Memphis to Boston, and it landed at Stewart Air Force Base in New York. And those guys saved the jet. They really did. But they treated them like criminals. There was tons of gold on that airplane.
Well, it's probably good that you don't know so that you don't start scheming. You'll be like, all right, here's the deal.
Yeah.
We're going to fake an emergency.
Yeah.
We're going to lower the cabin pressure. We're going to pass this chick out. And then we're going to land this plane and take the gold. And we're all going to a Caribbean island, and we're going to live like the fucking Sultan. Right?
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, the funny thing was the captain on that Stewart flight literally had a Memphis to Boston simulator the night before with a cargo fire in the simulator.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Bruce had a cargo fire simulated the night prior. So,
well, remember Bruce later on got hit by a lightning strike too, and I saw him in India, and I go, Bruce, I said, I don't want to fly with you, man. Something bad's going to happen. He goes, dude, you want to fly with me? I survived this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about him in a long time. Is he still with us? Do you know, Bruce?
I haven't heard anything different, so I'm
Bruce
assuming.
Is a big boy. Bruce is 375 pounds if he weighed a pound, and that was on a slim day. But I think he lost all the weight at one point. I don't know if it stayed on or not.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I went way down a rabbit hole there. You also have a note in here about briefing a new hire on the first leg of IOE. I bet that was just amazing.
So 7 IOE, and we've got a jump seater who's going to be a new LCA. Yeah, he's going to jump seat up with us to Anchorage.
How about getting hired to new hire to a 777?
Well, remember before it was the MD-11, and then it was the 777. So yeah, so we got a jump seater who's going to be a new check airman. He's going to jump seat up with us. Then he's going to observe me teach 2 legs the next 2 days. Then I'm going to observe him teach 2 legs.
It's the C2 do 2.
Yeah, C2 do 2. So we're going up there, and Anchorage is the worst flight we had in the system. Don't you think, Pete?
Why?
Absolutely.
Why was
leave
that?
at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, first leg of a trip.
And it's 7 hours and 28 minutes, no RFO.
Yeah. And it's quiet and dark the whole time.
Yeah.
So
totally get it.
we're cruising up there, and I look at my student. I go, "Hey, how you doing over there? You tired or anything?" He goes, "No, man. I'm ready to go." He was wired. He hadn't slept all day, but he was wired. It was his first time in the airplane.
Oh yeah.
I said, "Well, I'm gonna close my eyes for a few minutes." So I do. I don't know how long I was asleep. I wake up and I go, "How you doing?" He goes, "I'm doing great." And the jump seater was up there then in the jump seat. And I go, "Well, if you're awake, I'll teach you something." So I always like to teach the comm suite on the 777. I like to go through every button pushed because students really didn't get it in the schoolhouse. So I wanted to teach them everything. So I'm sitting there and I'm leaning down like this,
Comm suite is communications, everything, how to communicate on this airplane to anywhere in the world.
Yeah. And so I'm briefing them. And the next thing I know, these 2 fuckers start laughing at me. And I go, "What's so fucking funny?" And they go, "You've fallen asleep 3 times. And when you wake up, you continue the discussion where you fell asleep at." I go, "Well, fuck both of you." And I turn my head and I just lean back in my seat. Fall asleep again.
Oh, shit. And you didn't know you were falling asleep.
I did not at all.
Oh my gosh.
That's those micro naps, that they talk about in the sleep studies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a serious deal. How do you? All right. So how do you? That's a normal schedule. How do you?
Yeah.
How do you prepare your body for that? I mean, seriously.
I found it was almost impossible. I tried to. I had a crash pad. I would go to the crash pad, try to sleep a little bit, but you get there and you need to sleep. Probably, I was good on 3 or 4 hours. To go to Asia or Europe because we had RFOs. But Anchorage, there's no.
You were never more than 3 hours from your next nap unless you're going to Anchorage.
What's an RFO for our non-flying?
A relief flight officer, relief first officer. We had our relief captains also sometimes.
And the purpose of those people were to do what?
So, according to the FARs, and our contract,
aviation regulations.
Yeah, our contract was over 7 hours and 35 minutes as a Pete, where they had to have a third pilot. Anything over 12 hours, they had
11:30 or 11:35 for the 4th pilot.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're to relieve the crew, and basically, everybody's flying. You set up your rest periods beforehand, so everybody knows how to be prepared to sleep. And that was sleeping in the back because we had really nice bunks in the 777. But I missed the MD-11 because we had a futon on the floor for a rest period.
Futon on the floor.
Yeah. They didn't
literally.
have a futon on the floor.
Where it was about 12 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Because air's leaking in around the seal on the door. So, yeah. And these little tiny thin blankets that were, whoever got their, what do you call them? The management bonus points did so by saving material on the amount of blanket material they actually put on these blankets. It wasn't until we got the 777 that we got decent blankets.
Decent blankets and pillows.
Yeah.
Because on the 11 they had remember the little airline pillows, Fig?
Yeah.
And that's what they gave us for our rest on the MD-11.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So did you guys bring cold weather gear to to sleep in when you're laying on the futon?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. If you were lucky, there were enough of those blankets where you could stuff them at the seal of the door, and it would kind of warm it up some.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Either decide you're either going to get frostbite on your feet or your head, one of the two.
Yeah. That's brutal.
Yeah, I mean, the shit we put up with sometimes just boggles my mind looking back at it now. But that was that way before Flying Tigers got bought. Guys literally brown bagged their lunch. There was no catering.
Yeah, that's
Before
what
Flying
Tigers brought
Tigers
was
came.
catering. Every place we went, if you required catering, we could order catering, what we wanted to eat from the menu.
Okay. Okay.
So,
and if you fail to order it, well, that looks like a 777 bunk, right?
So that's a 777
It
bunk I
is.
just put up. It's basically like a big coffin.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were good bunks. Yeah.
They were.
All right. Well, so what's the craziest shit you ever saw when you were flying in
Air Force, airline.
Yeah, weird times of the night. I mean, other than like the Northern Lights and that sort of shit. Any scratch your head. I don't know.
Nothing really crazy, I mean,
Okay.
you had to be awake to see that shit, right?
Right. Well, there's that.
Okay,
So,
that's
I
valid.
got two more notes from you.
Yeah.
One is Training Review Board, and one is Medina Annex at Lackland Air Force Base for flight screening. So
We talked about the Medina Annex.
What's the training review
fun.
board about?
Yeah.
What's that?
So training review board, it was set up. FedEx didn't think that the pilots were really serious about anything. Remember, Pete, and the contract is.
I never was.
Yeah. So the
Good window.
TRB. Yeah, the TRB was you had if somebody in the schoolhouse had a problem, the training failure. Second failure, first failure, they automatically, they get some extra training and go.
Yep.
Second failure, or they had other problems, leading up to that or had done before. You go to the TRB, which consisted of 2 union representatives, which is training committee chairman usually, and what's the other one, Pete? I think human factors.
Oh, yeah. The human
from
factors
the
would get
union.
involved. Yeah.
And then the managing director of training and standards from the company.
Yep. Which,
And
by the way, Chubbs was the MD of training at the company at one point.
Really?
No, I was the
All right,
MD-11 training manager.
Oh,
So
I don't know.
No,
why
I
you
wasn't
were MD
managing
of
director.
all training.
no,
Yeah.
nope, just
Okay.
the MD-11.
Oh.
So, but the training review board is a really great program because, most people, as it was told to me, you don't work for 20, 25 years and all of a sudden you don't know how to fly. Usually there's something going on in the person's life or they've got some serious medical issues. And we had the leeway, and it was always consensus from the company and the union, the reps, that, this is what we think is best for the people going through. And, how can we get them through the program? There were some people that had some serious medical issues, that were found out just because of the training review board. Others had family issues that were causing problems. One guy had family issues and ended up, when he couldn't make it through again, they sent him to an evaluation, found he had the early stages of Alzheimer's.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right.
So, it saved people's lives, it saved their careers. And it was finally the company figured out that, pilots really care about what's going on and we can work with them. So it was very satisfying, because you got to help people. I only did it for a year and I did something stupid and went into management. So,
Yeah. What were you thinking?
I don't know.
Yeah.
The manager was fired. And so I went to his boss and I go, hey, who's going to replace this guy? And he goes, you are. And I go, are you think I'm fucking stupid?
I'm like,
I guess I was.
okay.
But I only did it for 10 months. So
No, I remember that. And that was good. I remember when you did that. And in fact, I still remember to this day, it was one of those things. You had to actually deny me some time off. I had asked for time off. My youngest son was having some cardiac issues. He was like 3 years old, 4 years old, something like that. And then, and you gave me the time off. And,
I gave it to you.
and you gave it to me. No. And then some other, a Rod that was in my class decided he wanted time off because, he lived in Fort Lauderdale, oddly enough. And when you said, yeah, no, that's not how this works, he wrote a letter to the senior VP of flight operations, the chief pilot, the senior VP of flight training, and said, well, RePete got time off. How come? It's like, are you kidding me? So,
Yeah.
So the extra time that I needed, I kind of didn't get, but, it's like.
Well, part of it too is, as a manager is like, or in a TRB too, it's like you look at guys and it's like, okay, they've got things going on. We can send them back through training, but they're not going to make it through because their life is consuming everything. And it's better to give them some time off to get things straightened out before you send them back into training.
Yeah. Just not a whole lot of rocket surgery. So.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, we have been kicking this thing in the ass for a little over, right at an hour and a half or so here, I guess.
Is that possible?
I know, right? I mean, it feels like 15 minutes, and here we are. Yeah. So I want to find out what the hell you did when you found yourself rolling 40, 45, 50 degrees on short final into Stansted.
Yeah, at 1,500 feet.
What the hell is that about? Foxtrot.
I just let the first officer fly the airplane. No.
Oh, good.
So yeah,
your jet.
I took the airplane over. Yeah. So,
your jet.
Yeah. So what happened is when we put the flaps down, the flaps 50, as I said, the airplane rolled. Well, what I did is I said, okay, right away, I still have my hand on the flap panel, so I put it back to 35 and stopped rolling. And the first officer was fighting and did a really good job. He really did. So being the brain surgeon that I am, there's a synoptic on the MD-11 where you can see what the flight controls are doing. I thought maybe we had a spoiler sticking up causing a problem. So I pulled the synoptic up and I go, we're going to try this one more time. And we do it. And guess what? It did the same damn thing. So we go back, flaps 35. We landed the airplane. Well, we pull off the runway, we put the flaps up, and we get a hydraulic system number 2 failure. And we're like, wonder what's going on here. Yeah. Well, what happened is we put the flaps up, the flap track, because there's a Fowler flap on the MD-11 that's like 19 feet long and 5 feet wide, and it fell off the airplane at 1,500 feet, 5 miles from the end of the runway. And so I talked to what the British version of the NTSB, and the guy told me, he goes, we found the flap about 10 miles from the runway. I go, no, you couldn't have, because he goes, what do you mean? I go, well, we put the flaps down at 1,500 feet. We're 5 miles from the runway on the glide slope.
Yeah.
And he comes back to me about a half an hour later. He goes, we found the flap. It was in a parking lot of a pub, landed between 2 cars, didn't hit either one of them.
No way.
I said, dude, I know how to bomb shit. And I didn't want to kill the cars, okay? But what happened is we lost the hydraulic system too because the flaps were off track. And the MD-11 has this big ball, and I think all airplanes do, where when the flaps come up, it hits a stopper.
Yeah.
Well, it was off track, and it goes through the number 2 hydraulic system line.
Oh, just pushed it right.
Yeah, so severed it. Done. So we got a day and a half in Stansted instead of going to Newark, and then we deadheaded home. So
I want to go back to one thing, and I think it's important to talk about, especially for our non-aviator listeners. When you move something bad happened, and you put it back to where it was before the bad part happened, right? That's something that we just, if you move a switch or lever and you have a negative result, the first reaction is, well, put it back.
Yeah.
And that's what you did.
And that was my thought process.
John Wayne in it.
It solved the problem.
Well, because at that point, you don't have enough time to go through a checklist.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. And it's funny, no matter what kind of airplane you're flying or who.
That's a great point, Fig. I don't think we've ever talked about that.
No. And he triggered that memory, or he triggered that thought, because, we still do that now. If you throw a switch or move a lever and you get a bad result, before you even think, you undo what you just did.
Yeah. Go to unbad.
Yeah, that's
unbad,
right.
Unbad.
Let's go back to where it was good.
And most of the time, that solves your problem. And then you can go, okay, what? Like you did. You're like, okay, let's reason this out. What really happened? But isn't that something?
Yeah. Well, technically, probably we should have gone around because we had numbers for flaps 50 landing instead of flaps 35, which increases your landing distance by what, 500 to 1,000 feet.
412 feet, 7 inches, 39 millimeters.
Yeah.
How do you know it's 7 inches, Pete? Yeah. So, but technically you should have done that. But it's like, okay, you got a flight control problem. We don't know really what it is. We're close to the ground. Let's land.
Yeah. Why you want to
controllable.
go around and maybe have bigger problems once you get, start.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's another thing. So you're on short final. You have some kind of non-normal happen. Is it better to take it around and sort it all out and maybe create a bigger problem, or just land the damn plane? There is the age-old question.
Yeah.
You guys
I think
landed
landing
the plane.
the airplane,
I
it
do
worked
too.
for us that time. Because here's the thing. If we going around, we'd put the flaps up, then we lost hydraulic system number 2. Now we're dealing with a hydraulic problem as well as the flap problem.
Yeah. And a no flap landing.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least, look, my recollection on MD-11 hydrastics is low, but the potential for creating more problems is definitely there. So,
Yeah. No
flap,
then
no
you're raising
slat.
the gear.
And the no flap, no slat, your approach speed is like 200 knots.
Yeah.
And you're going to use more than that 412 feet, 7 inches of runway.
39 millimeters.
Exactly.
Yeah. It gets ugly early. So
I really enjoy talking to you, Chubbs. Just talking pilot shit's been awesome, and hearing your stories are just fantastic. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, guys.
Best
I
part of this
appreciate
show, man.
I mean, this is an hour and 40 minutes. It seems like we've been talking 10 minutes, man.
Gone. Yeah. Yeah. That's an hour and 40 minutes you'll never get back, people. And aren't you glad you spent it this way? Because this is fantastic stuff. So we want to thank you for your service. First of all.
Chubbs, thanks for your service.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys for your service.
In the militia, your service in the Ohio State Militia.
The militia, that's right. And also, before we wrap up, we want to say thank you to all the men and women on active duty and in the Guard, and our veterans and our first responders. We're grateful to you, what you do. You put your asses out there on the line all the time, and people don't have a full understanding of what you do, and we're grateful for that. So thank you.
And just as important, their families, the ones that are holding down the home front, holding down the fort, missing birthdays, holidays, everyday moments, so that you can go out and do your thing. And we want to say a shout out to them and say thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And also to none other than Dave Hamilton over at Backbeat Media.
Backbeat Media.
Yeah. He helps us get advertising, but more importantly, Dave has also given us the knowledge and the know-how to actually get, once we're done talking, this stuff has to get from recording status to you on the internet. And Dave is the one that gave us the knowledge to make that happen. So thank you, Dave. We're deeply appreciative of
our bandwidth is handled by Cashfly, and advertising support also comes from Backbeat Media. Both absolutely critical to keeping the lights on. So thanks.
They are indeed. Hey, would you do us a favor, please? If you like this show, even if you didn't like this show, go over to sothereiwas.us/rate and give us a 5-star rating. It helps more people find the show if you give us 5 stars. If you insist on giving a show 2 stars, 3 stars, go find another show and give it to them. And then come back. Right? But come tell us, what we did wrong, and we'll fix it. But give us 5 stars, please. Helps other people find the show. We'd be deeply indebted to you for that.
And we are trainable, and we do care about about making it right. So give us some feedback if you have some positive feedback for us. Yeah. Hey, and by the way, if you have an idea for a guest, a story, or a way to make the show better, let us know. You can reach out to us at RePete at sothereiwas.us, or fig@sothereiwas.us, or Bago at sothereiwas.us, or Sticks at sothereiwas.us. And honestly, Bago and Sticks are really the brains behind the operation. They're here right now in the background doing some awesome production work for us. But hey, reach out to us and send us somebody that's got great stories, because we need to get those out there.
Right. And we actually read the emails, believe it or not. So we do. So, hey, don't forget the merch store. We got sotherewas.us/merch, and we got koozies, we got t-shirts, we got hats, we got all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Anything else you think of, Fig, that we might have?
Well, there is a bikini, and I know it's not bikini
season. I hadn't thought of that in a while.
It's not bikini season in New England, but it is in Brazil.
There you go.
Just saying.
Well, and that's where you definitely want to go see, one of our bikinis rolling around there. So you got that. But, man. And, the other thing we would like you to do is to
share the show.
Maybe
share the show.
Yeah.
Hey, it doesn't cost anything. Tell 2 friends about the show.
2 friends.
We're
Not
everywhere.
one,
Anywhere you
friends.
listen to podcasts.
Hold them down and make them listen.
That's right. Word of mouth still king. Send them our way. And you know what? It's a good listen. It's what can I say?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I'll tell you what, and for those of you who listen and love the show and have lost all common sense with regards to the security of your wallet, you've cracked your wallet open, you've gone to sotherewas.us/Patreon or sotherewas.us/donate, and you've given freely of your money, we're humbled. We say thank you. We're worried about you. We tell you, don't tell your financial advisor what you're doing.
Are totally questioning your financial judgment, but we do appreciate the fact that you're departing with your cash, because it is important. Thank you.
Yeah, and a new thing has come up recently is I have set it up so if you go to sotherewas.us/donate, we now have a Venmo option, which is cool because instead of taking 10 or 12% of your donation, like Patreon and Donor Box does, Venmo takes like 2%. So much more efficiently. The problem with Venmo is you can't set up a regular donation. For those of you that do that every month, we are humbly grateful.
Yes, we are.
You give every month.
Yes, we are.
That's a huge backbone of our support. So
massive. Thank you. We need to say a big thanks. Huge. Dix Bago for production work and constant behind the scenes support. And they're both here tonight. Thank you, gentlemen. Right. Your pay raise is coming, I swear.
Yep. We're going to double your pay this year.
Double, baby.
Double what you got last year. 2 times 0 is what, Fig?
I think it's still 0, bro.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. And let's don't forget Badass over at bdsaviationphotography.com, who is an artiste. His camera work, the shots that man takes, it's you wouldn't think anyone could get them, but he does.
No, it's aviation art is what it is. Thank you, Badass, for supporting us and letting us use your pictures.
Indeed.
And that sound you're hearing in the background, well, that's the 2 Air Force F-16 pilots that make the whole service sound good. They got 4 albums out, not one bad song on any of those albums, and they've been on a guest on our podcast twice. Excellent stories. They are true gentlemen and patriots. They have a distillery company or a spirits company.
Winglore. Winglore.
And Chemo and I sampled a little of that last week, and it is superb.
It is superb. You
Just
quickly
saying.
Get to Joker, then you got bingo.
Well, Joker's after you crack the bottle, it evaporates the Joker.
That's right. I mean, that's like as soon as you start your airplane on when you're a single engine attack jet, you start your airplane, you're on low fuel. So
yeah.
That's how that goes. But
choose the wheels in the wheel, your Joker.
Yeah. So
you
can find the Dos Gringos music on Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you listen to music. So I don't know, Fig. What do you think, man? Until next time, stay safe and
check 6.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
Hold on, Fig. It's what?
He said it's over.
Mistakes were made. I blame society.
What?
Weird.
Ow.